Welcome into sportsbookreview.com. I'm Gary.
And I'm Chris.
And this is the College Football Show opening lines for week number 12. Pretty good week last week, right?
Yeah, not too bad.
Not too shabby. So I got back in the winning column. Felt good about myself. You know, I went 4-3 the week before, 5-2 this week. I'm back on the rise.
See, there you go. Good. There you go. So, I'm one below 500 this week. I went 3-4. Okay,
but that's all right. That's not bad.
No.
So we are getting in the swing of things. Everything feels good. In week 12, we have got some monster matchups. We're going to do a recap of week 11. We're going to jump into the Tuesday and Wednesday night games. But first, go ahead and let you guys know. SBRpicks.com/NCAAF. Make sure you go over there. That is your one-stop shop for all of your college football coverage as far as gambling goes. It's deep dives into all the biggest games and some of the smaller games as well. Like, we do not discriminate. We make it very easy. Go and check it out, SBRpicks.com/NCAAF. Also, while you're doing that, go ahead and like this video. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, that you leave some comments. If you have found an edge already, we want to hear what your edge is, what you think the pick should be, where we should lean for Tuesday's show, et cetera, et cetera. So jump in the comments, leave those for us. We would love to hear your opinion on it. And make sure you share the show out. Tell your friends about it, of course. Every single week, you can go over to SBRpicks.com/pick6. That's P-I-C-K and the number 6. Make sure that you jump in there. It's for free. It's free to sign up. It's pretty fun. You can pick NFL games. You can pick college games. All you got to do is pick 6 games against the number, and you can win your share of cash prizes over there. I believe it's $1,700 in cash prizes every week. So go and check it out. SBRpicks.com/pick6. Finally, again, to remind everybody, we're not going to get to every game. There's a bajillion games going on in this sport. We jump into the ones that we feel like you guys would be most interested in on Sundays and Mondays and whatever. And we will talk about whatever game you want to on Twitter. You can follow me at GaryWCE.
You can follow me at Chris B. Giannini.
Now, we are not always going to have a firm opinion on every game. We'll tell you which way we're leaning. We'll tell you what we think about a game, but we may not have the exact answer that you want. So if you want to hit us up, we'll definitely tell you which way we lean, what we think about the game, why we would play it, why we wouldn't, etc. But don't always expect a firm, solid, hey, I'm playing this. You know, sometimes we will be, but sometimes we won't. So, again, hit us up on Twitter, of course, and make sure that you follow SBR Picks over on Twitter as well. Let's dive into the Week 11 recap, and this is super fast, right? Wisconsin. I mean, what can you say about them and Michigan? That was a complete beating, a disaster. I don't know that Wisconsin is that good. I do think that Michigan is that bad.
Yeah, I think there's a world in which Michigan's that bad.
They are just putrid. Yep. I mean, it is awful. So who knows what's going to happen with Jim Harbaugh? You know, obviously, we'll talk more throughout the season. There's still a lot of football left, and Michigan's schedule does ease up quite a bit. They've got Rutgers this week. We'll see what they look like against a team that appears to be on the same level as them, right?
Okay.
Which is kind of crazy. Notre Dame avoids a letdown against Boston College. They win 45-31. Big-time emotional letdown spot. They survived it. They looked good. The offense is humming, right?
That's right.
And so Brian Kelly got those guys focused in. They're zeroed in on the end of the season. And they've got a week off this week, right?
Yes, yeah. I don't think they play this week.
Week off in week 12. Then they got to deal with North Carolina and Wake Forest to close things out. So I think we're going to be good. Miami and USC both survive against USC for sure against lesser than teams. Arizona should have never been in that ball game, and yet USC allowed them to stay in. So we'll see what happens with that with the Trojans as we go along. The Hurricanes were missing a ton of dudes and still found a way to go and get a dub at Virginia Tech. Northwestern has moved to 4-0. That means that the Northwestern-Wisconsin game this weekend is a battle of top 20 teams. How much fun is that?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It should be a battle for better than that.
It should be.
There's no reason for Northwestern to be a top 20 team and Indiana to be a top 10 team.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree. Little news for this week, of course, we have already got canceled games, and I think that we will start seeing this more and more, especially with the Pac-12 and the Big Ten and the MAC, et cetera, playing. They are going to cancel games a little bit quicker, just to be on the safe side, I guess, and that way it allows scheduling flexibility.
It also, this game's scheduled for Tuesday, so they're pulling the trigger on that.
One of them was. Ohio and Miami of Ohio, that's a MAC game, already wiped off the board. Not happening on Tuesday. Arizona State, Colorado, a Saturday game, that's already been wiped off as well because Arizona State has too many COVID-positive test cases and whatnot. Herm Edwards still dealing with the issue. So they are not going to play. Colorado is looking for an opponent. USC and Utah could be up in the air. They're doing testing at Utah today. I believe, well, no, that would have been Sunday. So Utah, I think, will know on Monday, I guess. Who knows? Anyway, Utah will figure out very soon whether or not they are going to be able to play because they had a whole lot of issues. Also, at the end of last week, UAB and UTEP already postponed for this weekend. So those games are already off the board. We had 15 that were postponed or canceled last week. Trending in that direction again.
Well, yeah.
So
we've got a lot of games, though. So,
yes.
I mean, we can lose a bunch and still have a great slate of college football.
Yes. Be thankful for your college football slate. Let's move into Tuesday. We're not going to spend a long time on this. We've got Buffalo minus 31 at Bowling Green. I would imagine Buffalo covers. They can probably name their score. This is too high of a line for me.
Yeah.
Akron at Kent State. Akron, I don't believe, is as good as they showed against Ohio. I feel like Ohio was looking ahead to Miami. And it was still a 14-point ball game.
Yep.
But Kent State can score.
Yes,
and
sir.
they will. Sean Lewis, I love Kent State.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a big number. It's a
Yeah,
big number.
it's
You got to lay
24.
24.
I would still be okay with that. I think they win by at least 4 touchdowns and probably in the 30s. So this is a really fun, exciting Kent State offense. Remember, Sean Lewis, Dino Babers guy.
Yeah.
I'm all over Kent State. Probably going to go ahead and put a little wager in on those guys. Let's move into Wednesday, and we have got, this is the biggest game of the night by far. This is the only one we're going to hit on. Western Michigan and Central Michigan. This is 313, 314 rotation numbers. Central Michigan opened a 2-point favorite, total of 62. It is now Central Michigan minus 1.5 at the time that we are recording this. At 7 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN2. And by the way, all 3 games on Wednesday, all starting at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. Why would they?
I don't know. Because they hate us.
Because you can't stagger just to.
Nope. Everybody's going to go to halftime at the exact same time.
Come on, Mac. Give me a break here. So I don't know which way I'm leaning on that one yet. I'm going to dive in deeper before I tell you one way or the other. Western Michigan was a lot of fun against Toledo. I think there's going to be a lot more money come in on them.
I think so, too.
You might be able to get some value with Central Michigan. I don't know which way I'm going yet. I got no idea.
All right.
So, moving on to Thursday. And we have got a fun game opposite the NFL games, game. We've got 425 Tulane at 426 Tulsa. Tulsa with 2 top 25 wins this season.
That's right.
That is the same number of top 25 wins that they had for like the last 60 years. I believe I saw the graphic.
That's probably correct.
That is insane. Just insane to think about. But Tulsa opened a 4.5-point favorite, still sitting 4.5 at the time that we do this. And the total is 55.5. I feel like the total might be a bit large. Now, that could be crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Tulsa and SMU hit 52 points. Yeah. Tulsa did not allow SMU to score in the second half. I do think Tulane has got some tricks up their sleeve. They can play kind of the smash mouth style, right?
Yeah, they can. They run the football a lot. Hell, they can go triple option if they need to, which is always tough for a team that's not prepared for it. It's going to be a very different game than the SMU game.
Yes. So, and it's a Thursday night, November 19th. That should be fun. I think that one's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Moving into the Friday games, and these look like duds on the surface.
No,
I don't think so.
I think there's one good game.
Okay, so let's do the not good one first, right?
Okay.
So we've got 325 Syracuse, 326 Louisville. Louisville opened a 17-point favorite with a total of 58.5 at 7 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN. Louisville is now out to like 18.5. Last week, Louisville did not have Tutu Atwell. They didn't have Javion. What's the guy's name? I just went blank.
No.
Hawkins. They were missing stars,
Yep.
right? Missing guys that made that offense go. Only put up 17 on Virginia. Virginia has allowed a lot of teams to score this year. Louisville couldn't score on them.
That's right.
Syracuse with that 3-3-5 defense had a week off to prepare for this one.
Yeah, but are those guys going to be back?
That's the question, right? I got to see.
If this line's 18.5, I think that's that line is made with the assumption that they're back.
Maybe. We'll see. Even if they are back, it is still that 3-3-5 defense that has given everybody fits for a while. So I would lean Syracuse here.
That's fine. It's still going to be a dud game.
It certainly is. All right, so moving off of that one, let's go ahead and talk about Minnesota and Purdue. This one's in Minneapolis, opened as a pick'em, and now this thing has gone back over to Purdue, minus 2.5. Is that right? Or 2, I guess, at most spots?
No, it's 2.5.
2.5? Okay.
It's 2 spots have it at 2. Everybody else is 2.5.
And this one is what? FS1? Is that right?
I have no idea what channel this is on.
This one? No, I'm sorry. This is on Big Ten Network. So, yeah, a lot of people all over Purdue here, and I think they're probably right.
I think this line's wrong.
Like, Minnesota's not good.
I think this line might be wrong by about 9 points.
It might be more than that, man.
Well, I think a good line is 12 to 13 points, just under 2 touchdowns, I think is a good line. I don't know that that's where the game's going to fall. I think this line's off bad.
So does the
problem is the public does too. This is one of those situations where you got to think, are we right or are the books right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Because this line,
does it stink?
I believe this line. Yeah, but here's the thing. I think I've got enough data to say, man, we've had a lot of lines that stink this year, and the public all goes one way, and they're about 500, okay? You can't really draw any conclusion on just bet with the house and you're safe. No, the house got taken. They've taken some beatings.
Yeah, they certainly have.
So I'm not that is no longer logic, but it's still information.
That's true. That is true.
Either the house is picked aside or they're just wrong. I think they're wrong. Now, you said the analytics have this at Purdue -2 already.
-2.5, yeah.
I think that's wrong. I don't know what analytical calculator they're looking at, but I don't use analytics. I just watch football.
Part of it is team talent. Part of it is, all this other, like Minnesota. And Minnesota's bad.
They're
It's
bad.
A bad team.
They're a bottom tier, bottom 3 team in the Big Ten.
Yeah, Tanner Morgan has not looked good this year.
Purdue?
Like, I'm surprised at this.
Purdue really is just below in the West, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Northwestern.
Yeah.
I think they are the definitively 3rd best team on that side of the ball, and they might be the 4th best team in the 5th best team in the Big Ten overall.
They might be. It's entirely
you
possible.
take Ohio State and Indiana are probably over them. Nobody else in the East is over them.
That quarterback for Purdue looks pretty good. Like, obviously, we like Jeff Brom. He's covered fairly well.
And they're doing this without their best player.
Yeah.
If that guy's back this week,
yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's strange. So, I mean, obviously, we'll see about Rondale Moore. He's made no signs of coming back so far.
Why did he opt back in?
Yeah,
he opted back in.
I'm curious if it's NCAA stuff. That's what I'm curious about.
But why wouldn't he just opt back out and go train at some $1 billion facility in a place that's a lot nicer than Indiana?
I mean, it's a good question. I don't have an answer for you.
I mean, he could
he's
be
on the sidelines.
He could be in Scottsdale, Arizona right now, or some IMG Academy like $1 billion facility, working out in the sunshine.
He could be. I don't know. I mean, obviously he wanted to go back with his team. I feel like he could have learned more from Jeff Brom.
Oh, I do too. But he's not playing.
Yeah, he's not getting to play. I don't know what's going on. That's why I was curious about NCAA stuff, right? So, but yeah, I think we're both pretty big on Purdue here.
I'm big on Purdue. I think this line's wrong. I think the books have made a mistake.
Moving into the Saturday noon slate here, and we will start off with Indiana and Ohio State. Ohio State opened a 19.5-point favorite. 62.5 was the total. It's on Fox at 12 p.m. Eastern time, and it's jumped all the way up to 20.5 at most spots. I think you can still find a 20 out there. This feels like, nope, never mind. At the time of this, it's 20.5 across the board now.
Yep.
And I think it will continue to get bigger. Ohio State can be scored on. But I don't know what that means here, because I do feel like I like Indiana so far, but I don't know if any of the teams that they have beaten are worthy of them being ranked number 9 in the country.
They're not. They're ranked 9 because of laundry. They're ranked 9 because they have wins over Michigan, who is really bad, but everyone thinks they're really good. Over wins teams like Penn State, who's really bad, but everyone thinks is really good. This is the problem. We have to stop ranking laundry.
Yes.
We just have to. And I don't know what to do. And this is not a knock on Indiana, by the way. They're a very good football team.
Yes. Yes, indeed they are. I mean, I do think they are a good team. They have looked good against mediocre competition. We'll say that. I mean, their wins are Michigan and Penn State, Michigan State, and Rutgers, right?
None and it took a miracle final play to beat this Penn State team.
Yes.
That's bad.
But I do wonder if that Penn State team that they played in week 1 was actually a pretty good team, and now they've just had all of the momentum beat out of them, right? That's what I'm curious about. Okay. So, who knows? Either way,
I'll take that.
I do think Indiana has a ton of confidence right now. And when you are a team that plays with a bunch of confidence, you can jump up and catch somebody.
I love their coach. I'd love to see him be able to pull an upset.
I think that's out of the realm of possibilities.
Asking for a miracle, but keeping it close. I could see him doing it.
Yeah, I could see him keeping this within 17, 18 points.
Before we start talking, before we went live, we were talking, if this gets over 3 touchdowns, I'm going to take Indiana.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it.
But I'm going to tell you, I don't know if the books are going to move the line up. I mean, they might get it to 21 and just sit.
If it gets to 21, I'll probably take it.
I kind of want the hook. If I'm going to take a dog, I want a shot at winning the thing.
I mean, that makes sense. I
want 3 touchdowns and I win, not 3 touchdowns and I push. If I got to sweat this thing out, hold your nose. Man, it's a scary bet.
No, it certainly
Betting against these big boy teams is never fun.
Well, let's talk about another one of these big boy teams, and that is Clemson, 349-350, headed to Tallahassee to face off against Florida State. It's on ABC, 12 p.m. Eastern time. It's one of those kind of snoozer games. We had this 2 years ago, and that was where the image of the old guy that's reading the book, got his shirt off. He's just lounging.
Yeah, that's a professor at Florida State.
Yeah, and you see the score, which is at the time 56-17 or whatever it was. That looks very similar to what it could be on Saturday morning.
Well, there's no reason to even talk about this.
So Clemson opened 31.5. It's all the way out to 33.5. I would imagine that will continue to get bigger. Florida State is still one of the brand names, right?
Laundry.
So Clemson will obviously want to score as many points as possible, and they're mad about getting beat by Notre Dame. If you're going to bet it, only way to go is Clemson. So easy to do. Next one up here, we got Coastal Carolina hosting App State.
This is a real game.
I am so pumped about this. We talked to Jamie Chadwell. Look, 347 App State, 348 Coastal Carolina. Coastal a 4-point favorite. It's on ESPN2. We got a national window for them on a big-time network. A lot of people are going to be able to watch this, and if you pick any game to watch that morning, even maybe over Indiana, Ohio State, I think you should pick this one. We love the Sun Belt. I am a big fan of Coastal Carolina. I do feel like this line maybe should have been closer to a field goal. Okay. Maybe should have been 2.5, 3.
Okay. All right. You thinking about taking App State? Go ahead. I'm going to text Jamie and tell him.
I'm not going to take App State. I will tell you that.
We're going to have Jamie Chadwell on our show. Then you're going to doubt his team.
Yeah, but this feels like this feels like a field goal game. This feels like a field goal game. The talent disparity, all that kind of stuff, everything that goes into this, I feel like this is absolutely like one side or the other. And Coastal in Louisiana, that line was like 7. It was a field goal game. Like, this feels like a field goal game.
Okay.
I feel like, last team that gets to drive.
I kind of think Louisiana's a better team than App State. App State just hasn't impressed me this year, man.
I mean, they didn't look good this past week, but I wonder if any of that was looking ahead to this week.
I mean, it could be, but they've played one very good team this year.
And that's Marshall, who's still undefeated.
And they got dominated by that team.
Well, they weren't dominated.
Yes, they were, Gary.
It was 17-7. But
it was 17-7. At no point in time did they have any chance to win the game. It was they scored 7 points.
Yes, but they had other opportunities. It was turnovers, but the stats would tell you that game was closer than it appeared.
I watched that game. I watched the game too. Those stats lied.
So the other games that App has been involved since then, because that was like week 3, week 4.
No, it was long enough for both of them to be undefeated and it matter.
Yeah, and no SEC was going on because that was a CBS whatever game. So it was like week 3, I guess, or whatever. Either way, Marshall looked good. App State did not look good that day. App State has won every game since then, and they have pretty much obliterated everybody except for last week against Georgia State.
It's all bad teams.
I mean, it is, but I mean, who's Coastal beat? It's a bunch of bad teams.
Okay.
So, but they have looked really, really good doing it, and they have continued to dominate teams because at first they were winning just kind of close games, right? And then Coastal just started thrashing folks. And App was thrashing folks after they got beat by Marshall, and then it came down. I mean, they only beat Louisiana Monroe by like 21. They were closer games than they probably should have been. They hadn't been covering, and we know the great teams cover. So, maybe I'm looking at this incorrect. I feel like App has been waiting for this game for several weeks now. Maybe I'm crazy, but I ain't betting against Coastal. I'll tell you that. The shots, ain't no way. Teal Nation. That's what I'm talking about.
What would this number have to get to get you to take App State? If it got to a touchdown, would you take App State?
I have to get 7.5.
You have to get over a touchdown?
I have to get over a touchdown.
And you will sell your soul.
I most certainly will. For a profit, my friend. For a profit. All right, speaking of selling your soul, 393, 394, LSU headed over to Arkansas, and Arkansas a 2.5-point favorite. 64.5 is the total. It's on SEC Network. Arkansas currently sitting at a 2-point favorite. There's money coming in on Yo Bayou Bengals.
Well, we haven't got to watch the team in 2 weeks. Okay. All the crazy Cajuns out there are fired up just to be able to watch our team play.
Well,
I don't know if that's sharp money. That's just
people fired up to bet on their team.
That's just Cajuns doing Cajun things.
Are you one of them Cajuns?
No.
You're not betting on LSU
I just want to win the game.
So, but you're not betting on Arkansas either?
Hell no. I don't want to bet against my team. This could be Arkansas minus 36.
I guess.
Or LSU minus 36. I'm not taking Arkansas.
We really need to see if Sam Pittman is going to be coaching this week.
Yeah, I would tell you this. I wouldn't mind Barry Odom being on the sidelines right now because that guy's going to be way too conservative. He don't scare me. The players for Arkansas scare me. Barry don't scare me.
Yeah. We talked about that a little bit. He had a couple of opportunities to be able to get back in that Florida game, and he didn't take them.
He coaches scared. And you know what I like? Give me Rolo. Give me a coach that doesn't know that tomorrow exists.
Yeah.
He just wakes up every day and says, man, I didn't think I'd be alive today. Let's just play like we'll never play again. And Barry Odom plays like I'm 17 and I'm going to live to be 1,000, and I just got to be careful and walk on eggshells. No, not me. I don't like that.
I can understand it. If you didn't have a dog in the hunt, is this Arkansas?
I don't think we can stop the run.
Yeah, that's kind of...
Now, we've had 2 weeks to prepare, not for this team, but we've had 2 weeks of practice and not getting embarrassed on national TV.
Well, is it...
After getting embarrassed on national TV.
How much practice is it, though? Because, I mean, you've had a lot of guys out, due to contact tracing, all that. That's what I'm curious about. Like, LSU has had issues.
Listen, all I want to know is our defensive staff game planning and problem solving and troubleshooting. Because they don't seem to be good, but they're really highly paid.
I would wager Arkansas here. That's what I would do, because who knows who's going to play for LSU. And on top of that, like you said, they can't stop the run. Boyd for Arkansas has been pretty good.
Yes.
I do want to know if Pittman's going to coach.
I think Arkansas can run it on us. They've run it on almost everybody else.
Yeah.
They're a good run team. And Felipe is a good enough. I mean, we'll take the ball away from Felipe a couple of times, but I don't know that saves us. I mean, if this is a close game, it's going to matter. If it's not a close game, those 3 interceptions he's going to give us ain't going to matter.
No, because you guys got some freshman quarterbacks as well. that could
Yeah,
end up
we're
giving it right
probably
back.
going to give the ball away at least once.
That's what I would
That's going to happen. No.
That is what I would think. All right, let's move into the afternoon slate. Ole Miss and Texas A&M, 405, 406 rotation numbers. A&M opened an 11.5-point favorite. 74.5 is the total. Goodness gracious, that's a lot of points. But I'll tell you this, I ain't taking no Ole Miss unders. I mean, that's crazy.
Hell no.
3:30 p.m. Eastern time on CBS. It is all the way out to A&M minus 13. A lot of love for the Aggies after they had all that contact tracing stuff and they couldn't even play in Knoxville last week. I would tend to lean Ole Miss. There's a lot of public money on A&M.
Listen, Alabama did beat this team by 13 points.
Yeah, they did.
Whatever. It's a back and forth game.
Yeah, they won by 15. But
Listen, A&M ain't Alabama.
Agreed. That's what
you're killing my point. You can't lay 13 points. If you're not Florida and Alabama, you can't lay 13 points to Ole Miss.
Do we? Now we both agreed that A&M will be able to score here, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
But we both also agreed that A&M's defense ain't going to be able to slow this bunch down.
Arkansas slowed them down. Arkansas gave them fits. Outside of Arkansas, nobody has slowed this team down.
And Arkansas only slowed them down because
of turnovers.
Like
7 turnovers. 7.
Just absurd. Yes.
7. A&M ain't getting 7 turnovers. They're not slowing his team down.
Yeah.
Lane's going to be hurling clipboards all over the place.
That was so much fun to watch. Oh, my God.
I was conflicted about this team. I'm no longer conflicted.
As you should not be. So let's move on. And this is a whale of a game here. We've got Wisconsin at Northwestern. This is at legendary Ryan Field in Evanston, Illinois. ABC.
If it wasn't for the damn Rona, we'd be there.
Ooh, yes, we would. 3:30 p.m. Eastern time on ABC. 395, 396. Wisconsin opens a 7-point favorite. It is still sitting at 7. 45.5 the total. Northwestern has routinely given Wisconsin fits. They play them insanely well because they both tend to play the same style of
very
football.
Similar football.
They both like to run the football. Even if they can't do it against each other, they still do it.
They will try, and they will play great defense against one another.
This is going to be a lot of fun. Watch the battle in the trenches on both sides of the ball. It's going to be great. This is going to be a fantastic 20-14 type of ball game.
There's a world that both teams hit 20. I mean, that could happen.
It could. It absolutely could.
Mert's back 100% for this game, right?
Yes.
There's no reason for him to not be back.
There's no reason for him to not be. Yeah, he was fine against Michigan. Obviously,
wasn't
he didn't
necessary against Michigan.
He wasn't necessary, but he also didn't look like himself.
Yeah,
he
but he's got a week to figure things out and get back in shape.
But yeah, they didn't need him because they ran for 320 some odd yards against Michigan. So
I'll tell you this: they ain't running for 300 yards on this team.
Nope. There will be no chance of that. I will guarantee that. I do like to lean Northwestern here.
I'm trying to remove the biases that I have. The 7 points is the only reason. I do think Wisconsin's the better team in both sides of the trenches. I think they're both very good, and that's where they're both the strongest. I think Wisconsin's offensive line is probably better than Northwestern's defensive line. I think Wisconsin's defensive line is probably better than that Northwestern offensive line. I definitely tell you the running backs for Wisconsin, I believe, are better than Northwestern's, and I believe the quarterback for Wisconsin is better.
Probably better. Okay. I
love this Northwestern team. Look.
I know you love the Wildcats.
I'll be playing them. I won't be giving it as a pick. I'm not afraid to lose money, but
I might. I'm gonna dig more into it.
Oh, it's good. I hope you do, because if you do, then that means there's an edge there, and I almost ripped my mic down.
Yes, I will dive into it. I'm going to see if this should be closer than a touchdown.
I'll just be throwing money at it.
The analytics, by the way, would have this as Wisconsin minus 15.
Oh,
so yeah. But we'll see.
Well, but okay, hang on. Wisconsin's played 2 dead ass teams. All right, so the only stats that the math nerds are pulling are from garbage games that don't matter.
Yeah.
All right, this is why you got to throw numbers out the window, math nerds. How do math nerds gonna bet against Northwestern? How the hell does that work? They are Northwestern.
Let's move into the disaster game, right? Iowa and Penn State, because for whatever reason, Penn State opened as a 3-point favorite here. This is 3:33, 3:34 rotation numbers. 3:30 p.m. Eastern time on the Big Ten Network, and it is all the way out to Iowa minus 2.5. We've had 5.5 points of line movement in not a very long amount of time. And I think this is right.
6.5 because it goes through 0.
That's right. Okay, so even more. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
No, this is insane. This is one of those where the books are wrong.
Yeah, they just got it wrong.
They're just wrong. What do the analytics say? That's the one question I should have asked you before we started. Let's
see. Iowa and Penn State. We have it at...
If this has it at Penn State as a favorite, I'm going to lose my mind.
And I do not see it.
Sorry.
No. You're good. You're good.
You want me to keep talking?
Yeah, keep talking.
I'll keep going. So,
Iowa minus 1.5.
All right. That's fine. That's okay.
Yeah, Iowa minus 1.5.
I still think that's low.
Yeah, I do too. Iowa has destroyed people lately, like the last 2 weeks.
So. I no longer believe in kitchen sink games. I think teams are either what they are, they're not, which is why I'm afraid for my LSU Tigers this week against Arkansas. I think there's a world in which, hey, we tried to play football in 2020, and some teams are doing it well, and some teams are not.
I will tell you this.
Michigan's not. Penn State's not. Yeah. LSU's not. These are 3 teams that we're used to seeing in the top 10 on a regular basis. And they're just not good this year.
They're just not good this year. Yeah. You and I talked about this before. I feel like if Will Levis played the entire game for Penn State, they would have beaten Nebraska fairly easily.
You think they would have beaten them fairly easy? I think they would have been in the game. I don't know if they beat them.
No, because Sean Clifford gave Nebraska 2 touchdowns. Gave them 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, but it's not like if you take those 2 touchdowns away, it's not like Penn State would have guaranteed just drove it down the field.
No, absolutely not. Like, it's not like he was a world beater. If you look at the stats, he was like 14 out of 31.
So let's just take those 2 touchdowns away, and now they're punting. You don't know what Nebraska's offense would have done.
Agreed. But what I have seen of Will Levis playing so far this season, the offense tends to run better with him in there. So that's what I'm curious about.
The other guy's awful.
Yeah, but it's not that, like, Sean Clifford obviously has talent, right? Like, he's got some talent. His issue is the crippling, debilitating turnovers that absolutely lose the team for him, right? They completely just – it's same thing happening against Maryland.
I don't know how that's considered talent. I mean, I guess that is a talent.
No, he's like Christian Hackenberg was like a talented freak of a quarterback way back when.
So Gorentano is like really talented.
He's talented
at turning the ball.
But he has he's bad at decision making, all that. Like there's a difference between talent and a good player, right? There's a big difference there. So Will Levis, while I don't think he's insanely talented, and I don't know that he's a good player, he also doesn't do the things that just get you beat, right? So you may not be as good of a team, but it could actually make you a better team. I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly. That's what I'm worried about.
I'm confused and lost, and I don't think Penn State's very good. I don't care who the quarterback is.
Totally fair.
Joe Burrow's not walking through that door. He's the only guy I know that can save him.
You know who's walking through that door right now? Luke Mother Fickle. That's what I'm talking about. Cincinnati. Let's jump onto that one. Let's do this. And that way we don't get hung up too much on it because we can argue back and forth about Iowa and Penn State all day. But let's talk about Luke Fickle. Cincinnati opens a 3-point favorite at UCF. They got to go down to Orlando for this one. Playing in the bounce house. That's what UCF calls their stadium, by the way.
All 40,000 people.
3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. This is exactly what you and I have talked about pretty much all season, right? Cincinnati matches up insanely well against teams that run this style of offense. Now, UCF has talent. They've got speed. They've got, all that. And they have looked good against everybody, even when they lost to Tulsa and even when they lost to Memphis, right?
Correct.
Against Memphis, it wasn't offense that got them beat.
Oh, no. Both those teams put up a record number of offense.
750 some odd yards of offense. It's just stupid. But that lets me know I think Cincinnati can slow this offense down.
Yep.
I think that UCF will not be able to score.
Correct.
And I believe that Cincinnati will put up whatever number they want to.
Yep. No, I'm telling you, I've been saying it since day one in the American. The 3 best teams, not named Cincinnati, are all built the exact same.
Yeah.
And all 3 of those teams don't have a prayer because Cincinnati said, we can't hang with these guys athletically. So over the last 2 years, they've been building a team. Luke Fickell has been designing his team strictly with the mindset of talent-wise, we can beat everybody else. We have to do something different to beat these 3 guys.
Yes.
And he has. He's done it. This is the perfection of what he has been building. And SMU did not have a bloody chance. Memphis?
No chance.
Not a chance.
Houston
plays the exact same style, just worse than those 3. Not a chance. UCF will not have a chance in this game. At no point in time will UCF have a chance to have the football with the ability to score and win the game.
I think that pretty much sums it up.
I think Luke Fickell has perfected what he's trying to do. I don't think a single coach has done what Luke's done ever.
Yes.
Saying, I can't win playing these teams because they play so athletically fast, and we just can't get that speed up here in the Midwest.
Yeah, why
those
would
are
we
all Southern teams
that
that come from hotbed markets of talent, and Ohio boys just play football differently.
Well, it's what the most innovative coaches have done, right? So back when Chip Kelly started this whole hurry up, no huddle, all that stuff at Oregon, he did that because he could not get the guys
That's right.
that USC gets.
He couldn't power Stanford. He couldn't power USC. He couldn't power Washington because they were better than him in the trenches.
Yep.
So he had to take all their power away from them.
And that's what Cincinnati has done.
That's right.
But flipped it around because everybody does this hurry up, spread,
y'all are all
whatever.
So fast and so athletic and just crazy, just flying all around, and we're just going to take the air. I've got to be so big and strong in the trenches, and I've got to have cornerbacks that just press the hell out of your wide receivers where they can't run fast because when they get off the line, they just got punched right in the face.
You got it. They're a lot of fun to watch. This Bearcats team is a hell of a watch. So make sure you tune in for that when it's on the ESPN in the afternoon time slot. That, aside from Wisconsin Northwestern, like have this one on your other TV because this is going to be a lot of fun to watch. Moving on from there, let's move into the Big 12, and this has a lot to do with the Big 12 title game. Kansas State heading to Iowa State, going to Ames with a chance to have a part of the lead in the Big 12. We'll see what happens. Obviously, Bedlam is coming on. We'll talk about that here in a minute, but 403, 404 rotation numbers. Iowa State opened a 7.5-point favorite, total of 50.5. This one's at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time on Fox. It's out to Iowa State minus 11. Kansas State cannot score, but I don't think Iowa State's defense is all that good. Now, they have played better, but we are no longer in Brocktober. We are now in, I guess, Brovember. Again, we're in November now. I'm curious to see what Iowa State is going to look like here. Matt Campbell, a lot of rumors about him possibly taking the Michigan job. Who knows what's going to happen with that? He seems to be really happy in Ames. So, who knows, right? But
that's what I would say, too, if I was trying to negotiate a new contract. I'm really happy here, guys.
Like, you're going to have to do a lot to get me to pull it. Yeah.
Have to take it up a little bit.
I do wonder, like, because his coaching staff is a bunch of guys that he's comfortable with, right? Like, Mount Union guys and whatever else. So who knows? But either way, I don't know which way to lean on this. Like, I feel like this line has jumped a little too much.
I liked the opening line a lot. I thought the opening line is exactly where this line should be. Just a hair over a touchdown. I do think Iowa State is the better team, and I think they should win touchdown, field goal, touchdown to 9 points, somewhere around there. It's jumped over 11. There's a couple places 11.5. There's no way on earth I would take. This would be a Kansas State or walk away play for me.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Now,
right now, it's a walk away play.
I'm going to look into the numbers and see what I like about this and what I don't. I understand Kansas State has trouble scoring. I also know that Iowa State has trouble playing defense sometimes. So that's what I'm going to dig into and see, what I can find. But as far as right now, it's definitely Kansas State or walk away. Last game of the afternoon slate, and that would be the Alabama Crimson Tide hosting the Kentucky Wildcats. This one opened at 29.5. It's rotation 397, 398, by the way. 29.5 opening. It's out to Alabama minus 30. Now, Alabama's had 2 weeks off thanks to the LSU game being canceled or postponed or whatever. It's 4 p.m. Eastern time on the SEC Network. I think this is probably too many points. Kentucky's got a pretty good defense. They will at least be able to slow it down. I wonder if Alabama is going to be able to stop the run. However, we've seen this with Georgia. We've seen this with whatever. This line is just too big because Alabama's going to score.
Yes.
They will score on everybody. I don't know if it will be by 30 or if it'll be by 28 or if 25 or 40 or it just depends on how they're feeling. I feel like Alabama could probably name their score here. Kentucky looked better against Vanderbilt, but that was Vanderbilt that they put up 38 points on. So this will walk away for me.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
I've got no opinion about this.
I can't do it. The evening slate, and some of these we might run through fairly quickly. So we will start with Tennessee and Auburn. 415, 416 rotation numbers. Auburn opened 11.5-point favorite at home over the Volunteers, 7 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN. It's now Auburn minus 10.5. There is money coming in on Tennessee. Explain this to me.
I can't.
Christopher Giannini.
They're terrible.
I don't get it.
They're terrible.
It's not that I think that Auburn is a great team by any stretch of the imagination, but we just saw Auburn smoke LSU, right? And yes, Auburn is having some COVID issues, but we have not seen anything to lead us to believe.
Tennessee hadn't scored in the second half.
Yeah. They scored one touchdown against somebody, but it's like 81-7.
Yes.
They don't make halftime adjustments. You're telling me that Gus Malzahn and Chad Morris, even if I don't think they are fantastic coaches, I do at least respect their ability because I
believe this line should have opened at minimum
14. Yes.
14-17 is where I thought this line was going to open. And when it opened at 11.5, I thought, whoa, that's not enough. And then we checked it right before we went live, and I thought, holy crap, it's going down.
Yeah, 14.3 in favor of Auburn is what the analytics say.
See, 14-17 is where I would have set the number.
I mean,
I felt good with that number, and I would have had to figure out what I wanted to do if I even wanted to play it. Man, I think this number's wrong. I just think it's wrong. I think the books have made some mistakes this week.
I tend to agree. I really tend to agree. So, now we will see. But let's move into a little Mountain West game that I wasn't going to add, but now I kind of feel good about it. San Jose State heading to Fresno State. Fresno opened a 2-point favorite. This is a 7 p.m. Eastern time kick on CBS Sports Network. It's now San Jose State minus 1.5.
It's 2 across the board.
Is it 2 across the board now?
2.5 at some places.
Goodness gracious. A lot of love for the Trojans, of course. The Spartans, San Jose State. Fresno State can score. Kalen DeBoer, the former Indiana offensive coordinator, he used to be the offensive coordinator at Fresno State under Tedford back however long ago that was. He's got them rolling right now. Absolutely rolling at Fresno State. Look, I love San Jose State. They covered for me last week, right? But that was against UNLV. They gotta face Fresno State, which is a team that can put up points.
Yes.
They haven't really played one of those yet.
No, I was shocked. I was shocked that the line flipped. I was shocked that everybody's buying into San Jose.
Don't get me wrong. This is a good team.
Now I'll tell you this.
Brett Brennan
it's more. Do you think it's more what they did to San Diego State than what they did to UNLV? Obviously.
Yeah. Well, that and the fact that they are 4-0 for the first time since 65.
Yeah.
It's insane. Nick Starkel, former Arkansas quarterback, former Texas A&M quarterback, he is their starting quarterback, and he's looked really good. Brett Brennan has built this program from nothing.
Yep.
No,
they were awful.
Their facilities are worse than high school facilities.
Oh, well, yeah.
And they've gotten better. They've gotten, they've built themselves up. But, they were about as bad as you can get, and he has completely. And now they looked good last year, too. They got to a bowl game last year. This is a fun team to watch. And so I like San Jose State, but I ain't betting it in this spot. I'm just going to wait and see where the line goes because, man, that is a lot of movement.
Yep.
That's a lot of movement
big
for
numbers.
Let's go ahead and talk about Bedlam. Oklahoma opens a 9.5-point favorite over Oklahoma State, 401-402 rotation numbers. And this is 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on ABC. College game day will be there. There will be fans present in the stadium. Oklahoma has looked significantly better since they lost the biggest games of the year early, and then they've just played a bunch of nobodies, right? They got a bunch of guys back that were suspended or that were injured, guys that had COVID early that, weren't allowed to play, weren't allowed to practice, whatever. They got a lot of guys healthy, and now they're just steamrolling teams. And Spencer Rattler, name we hadn't heard in a long time now, he has been looking significantly better. But again, they've been steamrolling
against lesser opponents.
Kansas, Texas Tech, TCU, whatever. What does that mean? 9.5 seems like a lot of points against an Oklahoma State defense that has looked mighty fine so far this season. So, the total is 59.5. Kind of surprising to not see a total over 60 in this matchup. I think that will definitely shift. I'm definitely taking the over in this spot because I think the two teams will score. Okay. Gundy, even as much as Jim Knowles has changed him around to being a defensive team, Gundy is still at his core a spread offense. Go get them, rock them, sock them,
Yeah, but if he's got a chance to beat Oklahoma playing a different style of football, he'll take the win.
I think so too, but I do think
hasn't been able to do that.
I do think that this game will get into the 60s. So okay. I'm going to roll with the over on it, but
I will be on.
I'll be on Gundy.
I'll be on the side of the Pokes.
Yes, most certainly. Give me the Cowboys. I like that a lot.
This number's insane.
I could see it maybe at a touchdown.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yep.
I think even that might be a little high.
I thought that was high, thinking that it was going to open around a touchdown.
I mean,
what we've seen from Oklahoma is all smoke and mirrors. What you do to 9-year-olds has nothing to do with what you do to another man. Okay? Because that's what they've done. That's
a good analogy. That's a really good analogy.
I know.
I like that.
That's why I said it.
We got 3 more games. Let's jump into this. Let's talk about Hugh Freeze. And his Liberty Flames headed over to NC State, over to Raleigh, North Carolina, to face off against Dave Doran and the Wolfpack.
This will be their third ACC opponent.
And they're 2-0 so far.
They're about to put another head on the wall.
They are 8-0 as it sits right now, 359, 360 rotation numbers. NC State opened a 3-point favorite, total of 66.5, and 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN3. Another streaming game. Wonderful. It's still sitting at NC State -3. I'm going to ride Liberty again.
Yeah.
100%. Now, total, Brady Hockman, the quarterback, the backup quarterback for NC State, has played pretty well.
Oh, no, they're putting up points. I think that what we were talking about, the Liberty play is the easy play.
Yes.
That's the just give me Liberty and I'm walking away. I don't care what the number is.
Give me Liberty or give me death.
Death, that's right. The trick is I think both these teams are hitting the 30s. Are we going to hit to the mid-30s to get 66.5? And I think that number is also going to go up. I think that number is going to climb. So,
can we get a 38-31 ball game, 35?
Yeah, are we going to get to the 70s in total points?
I tend to think so.
I would bet that more than not. What has messed me up with betting totals is I get one team right, the other team doesn't show up.
It's the wonderful thing about team totals.
That's right. That's why I will be waiting for Saturday to give you a team total on Liberty.
There you go. Well, you can actually grab those on Tuesday now. So
okay, well,
we might do that.
See if I can find it.
We can do that. Let's move into the Pac-12, and the most interesting game of the weekend there would be USC heading to Utah, and this game may not even happen. No, we don't know yet.
This isn't interesting.
Well, it's I think the last shot for USC to get beat. And now I said that, but I mean they almost got beat by Arizona, so who even freaking knows at this point? It's 367, 368. Rotation numbers, 10:30 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN. So this is Pac-12 After Dark game. Utah hadn't played yet. They got COVID issues.
This will not be the After Dark game I'll be watching.
Which one are you going to be watching?
I'll be watching Washington State. I'll be watching Boise State.
That's I did have Boise State on here. I don't think I'm surprised that Stanford is
Favored?
is favored over Washington
Another
State.
wrong team favored? I got it written down.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that on.
We'll get on Tuesday.
We'll talk about that on Tuesday.
We can't hit them all.
USC, it's sitting at -3.
We're hitting at USC because they're the big school.
Yeah, pretty
That's
much.
it. We're just a hoarder ratings.
I don't think USC is very good, but also know that Utah is having a lot of problems, and this game is probably not even going to happen. So, with that
I'm
said,
glad we picked that one to talk about.
423, Boise State. Sometimes I hate you. So, Boise State and Hawaii. Boise State opened an 11.5-point favorite here. Hawaii got drubbed by San Diego State last week.
Yeah. And what Boise State do?
Drubbed Colorado State.
After that loss, they didn't like the taste of that loss.
No, they did not.
Oh, they got that taste out quick.
But they do get to travel down to the island now.
I know.
Boy, wouldn't you like to be there?
I know. God, put me on the first thing smoking. I'll leave tomorrow.
423,
Can't leave.
424.
I'll leave Tuesday.
Rotation numbers, 11 p.m. Eastern time on CBS Sports Network. It's up to Boise State -13.5. I think that will continue to grow. Boise had like 15 dudes out with COVID last week and still smashed Colorado State.
What numbers this got to get for you to not take Boise?
17.5.
I think that's when I'd start getting scared. I'd probably still take them.
Think so too. I think their defense.
I would be afraid to take them. I wouldn't get it. I wouldn't give it out as a play. I'd bet my own money with it.
I feel like it. So analytics say that this should be like Boise State -16.
Okay, so you actually have information to give on that. I'm just throwing numbers out of my head.
I still think, 17, 18 starts to get over that.
They're really good. I think they are pissed off that they lost that BYU game, and I think they're going to murder everybody else on their schedule.
Yes.
They don't play another real good team the rest of the year.
Not until they get to that Mountain West Conference title game.
But even then, they're going to play San Diego State, San Jose State, one of those two.
Yeah.
And then I think they're going to beat the hell out of that team.
Probably so.
I mean, I think they're 15 points better than them.
You might be right about that.
I think this team is a really good team, and it's hard to see them as a good team because we saw them just get demolished on national TV.
Yes.
And we gotta forget that. You gotta throw that out of your brain.
Yeah, BYU
pretend that BYU
level.
game didn't happen. This is a 20-point line.
BYU is literally right behind the trifecta, right?
I want BYU in the playoff.
I think that'd be fun.
Worst way. We need Notre Dame to beat Clemson twice.
I think it might happen.
If Liberty sweeps the ACC can't get two teams in the playoffs. I think that's a rule. I don't care what happens in that damn ACC title game. If Liberty sweeps the ACC, you don't get to have two teams in. That's just my rule.
Do you not get to have any team in?
No, you don't, actually. If they're both 1-1,
so
no.
Liberty over
You
Notre
got to
Dame.
be undefeated or you're getting the hell out of here. Because your conference sucks.
Let's close on that one. We hope that you guys have enjoyed the show today. We certainly appreciate you being here. Go ahead and hit that like button for us. Of course, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and jump back in here with us on Tuesday afternoon at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time for the flagship show. We're doing our deep dives into the biggest games, and we're going to give you our official picks for the week. Make sure you go over to sbrpicks.com/NCAAF. That is the one-stop shop for all of your college football needs. We do deep dives into all the biggest games and some of the smaller ones as well. So all the information that you will need is going to be right over there. So go on and check that bad boy out. Of course, sbrpicks.com/pick6. Every single weekend, you can win your share in cash prizes. So go and check that out. That is PICK and the number 6. And again, we're not going to get to every game. So go ahead and make sure that you follow us on Twitter. I'm at Gary WCE.
I'm at Chris B. Giannini.
Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, jump in with your comments, tell us what games you really like, which ones you think are completely wrong by the books that they just completely messed up on, because I know you got some ideas. And tell us what you like about the show. Tell us if you like the show. We love to hear any kind of creative criticism, or if you just got nice things to say, we would prefer that as well.
I like the nice things.
We do like the nice things. So, for sure, go ahead and put those in the comment section. We appreciate you guys being here. For SportsbookReview.com, I'm Gary.
And I'm Chris.
We'll see you again on Tuesday.